Hey, did you catch the press conference with Trump and Zelensky after their meeting at Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, I did. Quite something, huh? It felt like both sides were trying to balance optimism with realism.
Exactly. Trump seemed really keen to emphasize progress, like they were closer than anyone thinks to some kind of agreement.
Right. And Zelensky was very careful to acknowledge that, yes, progress has been made, but there are still difficult points to resolve, like territorial disputes and security guarantees.
It's understandable. Donbas and Crimea are very sensitive topics. You can't just wave a magic wand and resolve these issues overnight.
True, but I liked how they both stressed compromise. That's essential. Peace isn't just about winning or losing. It's about finding a solution both sides can live with.
And I think they were trying to show the public that negotiations are serious. Trump kept mentioning the final pieces of a potential deal, and Zelensky emphasized that the framework is mostly agreed upon.
I noticed that. The idea of a framework is important because it signals that both sides have a structure to work with. Without that, talks would just be endless back and forth with no tangible outcome.
Exactly. And it's clear Zelensky's focused on the people. He kept mentioning how long Ukrainians have suffered and the need for a fair and just solution.
Yeah, I think he wanted to balance optimism with realism. Progress is being made, but the details matter: security guarantees, troop movements, and the legal framework for any peace deal.
Trump also stressed the importance of compromise. He talked about give and take and how both sides genuinely want peace. It was interesting to see him take a more statesman-like tone compared to his usual rhetoric.
Definitely. And they also touched on the international aspect. Allies, mediators, and observers play a role in enforcing any agreement. Peace isn't just bilateral. It affects Europe, global trade, and energy markets.
That's a good point. Stability in Ukraine has global implications. That's why they mentioned verification mechanisms, monitoring, and neutral parties. Trust is key.
I liked that part too. Without accountability, any agreement could fall apart. Both leaders seemed aware of this. They kept reiterating that any solution must be durable, not just a temporary ceasefire.
Another thing I noticed was the human angle. Trump mentioned the impact on civilians, children and families, and farmers. Zelensky emphasized rebuilding cities, schools, and hospitals once peace is restored.
Yeah, they were trying to show that peace is not abstract, it has real-life consequences, and that creates urgency.
Exactly. They both kept saying the negotiations are ongoing, but progress is being made. It's a delicate balance, keeping public hope alive while not over-promising.
And I think they succeeded. Trump stressed that the negotiators are closer than anyone realizes. Zelensky acknowledged that most major points are in place, but emphasized the need to iron out remaining details carefully.
I also noticed the repeated emphasis on good faith. Both leaders highlighted that achieving peace requires both sides to act sincerely rather than just making statements for the media.
True. Without trust, any agreement is fragile, and trust takes time to build, which is why they both stressed patience and persistence.
Another interesting point was transparency. They talked about keeping citizens informed to maintain credibility. It's tricky because too much information can inflame tensions, but too little creates skepticism.
Right, and they balanced that well. The press conference itself served as a signal of seriousness. Public visibility shows commitment to ending the war.
What did you think about the part where Trump said both sides want to see an end to violence?
I think that's crucial. Acknowledging a shared goal humanizes the negotiations. It's not just politics, it's about people wanting safety and normalcy.
And Zelensky kept bringing it back to Ukrainians. He wants peace, but also justice and fairness. He doesn't want a deal that compromises Ukraine's sovereignty.
That's key. Peace agreements fail when one side feels cornered or unfairly treated. He made that point come across repeatedly.
What about international involvement? Trump mentioned allies and mediators. It's clear this isn't just a U.S.-Ukraine issue. Global stability is at stake.
Definitely. Energy markets, refugee flows, trade, these are all affected. International oversight gives credibility and enforcement mechanisms to any potential deal.
And both stressed gradual progress. there are small victories along the way, agreeing on frameworks, key points, verification processes, which build momentum towards a final agreement.
Exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and the press conference conveyed that. Realism tempered with optimism.
I think they also wanted to show solidarity. By appearing together, they signal that both leaders are committed to negotiating sincerely.
Yes, optics matter. Showing alignment to the public helps build confidence that peace is possible.
And the human cost was a recurring theme. Trump talked about the long duration of the conflict, and Zelensky emphasized the suffering of civilians and the need for rebuilding.
Yeah, they were trying to show that peace is not abstract. It's about lives saved, cities rebuilt, and economies restored.
I noticed how they both avoided specifics on dates or guarantees. That was smart. They want to manage expectations.
Exactly. Too many specifics too early can backfire. The key is to show progress and intent without committing prematurely.
Overall, the message seemed clear. Progress is happening, challenges remain, and both leaders are committed to seeing it through.
Agreed. They emphasized patience, persistence, compromise, trust, and the human element. It's a nuanced approach for a complex situation.
And the public saw a balance of optimism and realism, which is essential for credibility.
Yes, too much optimism feels hollow. Too much realism feels discouraging. They struck a good balance.
So what's next? Continued negotiations with both sides working on remaining issues?
Exactly. Refining details, verifying commitments, ensuring security guarantees, and keeping the public informed. Step by step, they're working towards a durable agreement.
It's encouraging. You can sense the effort, the persistence, and the willingness to compromise.
True. Peace takes time, but this press conference shows real work is happening behind the scenes.
And that's what matters. The people need to see that leaders are acting responsibly, thoughtfully, and sincerely.
Exactly. It's about hope, accountability, and building a foundation for lasting stability.
If progress continues at this pace, maybe peace isn't just a distant dream.
Hopefully, step by step, negotiation by negotiation, it's possible.
And that's really the takeaway. Careful, persistent, human-centered diplomacy.
Absolutely. A reminder that in complex conflicts, dialogue, compromise, and commitment are the only paths forward.
I'll be watching closely. The next updates will be crucial.
Same here. Every step counts, and this press conference shows real effort is underway.